The shadowy monster crept into view and slashed its arm out towards Sonic the Hedgehog's face. In the dark and dirty corners of the city alley, it was hard to tell where the black of night ended and where the creature began. But one thing was clear. The monster had terrible fangs and was biting forward with all its might. It lunged right up at Sonic's face, and then the screen cut to black. Sonic, Tails, and Amy stood in silent shock at the video they just watched.
This was taken last night, not 3 blocks away from my laboratory. Well, it was the first divine proof that Dark Gaia's minions have reappeared. We've been receiving reports of attacks for almost 2 weeks.
Dark Gaia? That ancient monster was as annoying as he was butt ugly.
It's no laughing matter. Last time that creeper broke free, he nearly destroyed the whole planet.
Quite. As a hyper-energy organism birthed at the dawn of time, Dark Gaia is an immeasurable, unfathomable power that can pose a great threat to the planet. His minions' reappearance raises the question, has the monster somehow re-emerged from its ancient slumber?
Sonic zipped around the lab at hyper speed. He then skidded to a stop.
If that Lord of Destruction is back, I'll swat him down like the first time we clashed.
Sonic, you've got more to do than show off. I only saw the dark minions from a distance, and I know they have a serious effect on people.
You're worrying over nothing, Amy. The only effects of Dark Gaia's energy were that I got a little bit furrier, and these little monsters are probably just stragglers. And we took them out before with a little more than a flashbulb camera, right, Tails?
The fox had been studying the video footage closely.
Well, I have been tinkering with a better light-based gadget to help destroy Dark Gaia's minions since our first encounter. A kind of super camera.
Way past cool. So let's you and me hit the street and blast these beasties off the map.
You better get started quickly. The sun's going down as we speak, and when that happens, the dark minions will come out.
Night or day, there's no way I can't... I can't...
Sonic's body began to shake, and the sun fell down the horizon. A strange purple smoke rose up from the floor and enveloped the hedgehog. His eyes bulged in pain, his teeth and quills throbbed, then grew in size. The tips of his fingers sprouted thick black claws through his gloves, and in a moment, the hero had somehow morphed into a monster himself.
Sonic the Werehog, you're not supposed to be like this.
What's happening to me, Professor?
Astonishing. It seems returning to my city and coming closer to this new wellspring of Dark Gaia energy has reignited your Werehog form. You were always able to resist being fully taken by the darkness, but it appears that your long transformation left you susceptible to the monster's energy.
Maybe Dark Gaia has returned.
If that's true, then things are about to get a lot more exciting. Let's go.
Wait, I'm no expert in Dark Gaia, but I think you'll want my help.
It's too dangerous. Come on, Tails. Let's get that gizmo charged.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but slow it down, Sonic! This thing is heavy!
The fox flew up behind his friend equipped with a dark minion blasting invention called the Flashbanger. The device consisted of a golden power cell Tails wore like a backpack, and from there, cords wound down his arms to 2 massive gauntlets. Each made his hands into bulb-like fists that could blast a beam of concentrated light. On Tails' wrist was a small screen that recorded images of his targets to steal their power.
What good is that thing going to be if we can't find any of these dark minions, Tails? If they were really here in force, we should have found something, anything in the city by now.
It is far too quiet. But if you're still in Werehog mode, there's gotta be something out there.
Where? This transformation makes me feel so itchy. It's like I've got fleas, but there's nothing.
It's almost as if the minions have gone into hiding. That's not their style at all.
At that moment, an eerie scream rang out in the distance of the night. It sounded like someone was equal parts terrified and in horrible pain.
That could be... something?
Sonic sped down the hill at top speed. His newly gray fur rippled with anticipation as he lumbered forward. The scream was coming from a small square barely lit by flickering streetlights. As Sonic zeroed in, he saw a young woman bent over and pulling at her own hair.
It's not fair! It's not fair! Ah! Can't anyone do something?
Hey lady, it's going to be okay!
Sonic slowed to a trot and reached out a hand. The woman spun around with an angry jerk.
What could you possibly know about it?
The skin around her eyes was dark with an unnatural shadow, and the woman sank to her knees in despair.
Oh, it's too late.
All around the edges of the square, purple shadows swirled. Suddenly, dark minions began stepping out of the darkness. Their black bodies throbbed with strange neon light. Their empty red eyes twitched. Their bodies formed into shapes of sharp spikes, slithering tails, and wagging tongues. They were closing in.
Alright, you little slugs. It's time you let this woman go and crawl back to where you belong!
The Werehog dove headfirst into the inky black pile of minions and tried to draw them away from the woman. Skittering around the square again and again, Sonic punched the dark minions with his nearly extended powerful arms. But each time he came closer to a minion, the creature somehow slid out of his claw's reach.
Come out and face me, cowards!
But even his hyper-extended Werehog arms, the beast remained frustratingly out of his reach. Three bursts of light flashed overhead, and the dark minions began to reel back and squeal their horrid cries. It was Tails and the Flashbanger.
Don't let them escape, Sonic!
Right!
Sonic used his now extended arms to place all the objects in the square that he could reach at each of the exits to trap the minions. As the space lit up with Tails' flashes, the minions had nowhere to run, except up.
They're escaping up that building!
The Werehog used his arms by lightening them and climbing up the walls quickly. But just as he was about to grab the army of fleeing minions near the building's roof, a bubble of dark energy burst before like a shadowy grenade. The force of the blast hit Sonic hard and tossed the Werehog off the building's side like a rag doll. Sonic landed on the street below with a crash, and though his Werehog form was strong enough to absorb the impact, his pride took a beating that would sting for days.
Are you okay?
I'm fine! Which way did they go?
I lost them trying to flashbang whatever that energy blast was. I think the sun's about to come up.
What happened?
She struggled to stand, but her eyes looked clear of Dark Eye's influence.
You took a hit from something otherworldly.
It was so strange. I was out for a pre-dawn run, and I felt this force telling me I was destined to be alone forever. Like I was the last person left on the planet.
Sonic and Tails made it back to Professor Pickle's lab just as the sun was rising. The effects of the Werehog transformation had worn off, but it had left Sonic wiped of all energy.
I just need to recharge my batteries, and then we'll track down those minions and figure out what they're up to.
It's the second part I'm worried about. They've never been quite this tricky. It makes me think Dargaia's returned.
Perhaps not, but he may be close to resurfacing.
The usual bouncy pink hedgehog dragged herself over the other two, and the pair could see deep rings underneath her eyes.
I've been up all night reading the professor's ancient Gaia manuscripts. I want to find the secret to what's happening, and I think I have something.
Come on, Amy. That moldy old manuscript is full of doublespeak and weird riddles. Don't drive yourself crazy trying to figure them out.
But I really think I have something! What I think the manuscript says is that while Dark Gaia slumbers, his extant energy can sometimes scour the planet in search of its master. If the Dark Minions are attacking people, it may be because they're looking for someone to take their place of the Lord.
Then who is this?
Tails dropped the Flashbanger's view on the table. The picture was of the rooftop where Sonic had been blown back. Thanks to Tails' burst of light, the team could see the Dark Minions retreating over the ledge. But there was something else. a shadowy figure seemed to stand on the roof, calling the minions back with a blurry wave of its arm.
Whoa, good catch, pal! There's some mastermind behind this whole scheme after all. But do you think Dark Gaia could have returned at this small a size?
It could be him. He may have taken a different form until he can consolidate his energies again.
But my research says that's not possible.
Don't sweat it, Amy. Your hammer comes in handy for bashing the occasional robot, but leave the spooky stuff to the professionals.
After a day of fitful sleep for Sonic and Tails, night descended on the city once again. But there was a strange energy in the air as the moon rose, and Sonic felt it as he transformed back into the Werehog.
There's no second chances tonight. I can feel it in my bones. I wonder if we can really seal Dark Gaia again.
And the dark minions were out in force. As Sonic sped through the city streets, the inky beast seemed to taunt him along with the everyday citizens whom they possessed at every turn. Everywhere, people were crying out, "What's the point? We're all so alone." At each turn, Sonic would swoop in to save citizens while Tails developed a 1-2 blast from the flashbanger to shake off the dark minions. But the creatures never stayed long after a fight. Some of the minions escaped down a sewer drain.
Ugh, this is infuriating! What are these things even trying to do?
I'm not sure what they're getting by terrorizing these poor people, but I do think I know where they're going. Do you see the pattern here? Every time you drive the minions off, they run toward this older section of town.
Then let's go smash it.
As he raced along, Sonic was irritated. It wasn't just the effect of the dark magic that made him a beastly werehog. He hated not being in control, not being fast enough to bash in a bad guy's face.
Sonic!
The werehog slowed down outside an alleyway that ended in a large pit like the mouth of a cave.
Sonic!
If Dark Gaia wants me, he's gonna get a lot more of me than he can handle.
Suddenly, he was surrounded. Dark minions crawled out of each corner of the cave and screeched and squealed at Sonic as he ran. But they didn't attack. Instead, the creatures descended on the mouth of the cave and began clawing at the rocks around it. In a second, the entire opening was closed off in darkness. Sonic was now separated from his friend.
Tails! Now I'm all alone without the flashbanger's help. So be it.
Sonic worked his way deeper into the dark with only the light of the dark minions' glowing bodies to guide him. They kept their distance from the werehog, but up ahead he could see the shadow of their leader standing on some strange altar.
So you finally came to me, eh, Sonic? Without me, you would have never found this energy source.
Well, now that I'm here, I'm going to bust your butt up all over again, Dark Gaia.
You think I am the Dark One? His power is still hidden in the planet's core. But this energy source called out for someone who cared for it. And I answered the call.
With the swing of a hammer, the leader leaped up and struck the ceiling. A hole broke open and the minions detected Dark Gaia energy leaking from this place, letting in just enough of the moonlight.
And I, being obsessed with the Dark Gaia, came here too.
Amy?
Sonic couldn't believe his eyes. His friend was swirling with Dark Gaia energy. Her pupils were solid black with a low glow of red energy, and her quills rippled with the same power that had turned him into a werehog.
Surprised? The energy of the Dark Gaia was calling out to you, Sonic, but you ignored it. Just like you ignored me.
Amy, I didn't mean to.
I was obsessed with the Dark Gaia energy as I studied the minions' actions. I had no idea how powerful it truly was, and it brought me here.
I'm sorry, but whatever this is, it isn't the answer.
Oh, it's not? Was I not able to study the Gaia manuscript? Was I not able to gather every single remaining minion in one location? Admit it, Sonic, I have more skills than you thought.
Okay. I should have asked for your help. I shouldn't have done this alone. But what do you want me to do now, Amy?
I want you to watch as I do this!
Amy swung her hammer with ridiculous speed at the ceiling. Pieces of the ceiling rained down around her.
Now, Tails!
From up above, Tails rained down blasts from the flashbanger, and the dark minions had nowhere to go. Their screams were brief but sharp. One by one, the army of monsters saw their power stolen by Tails' machine, and they evaporated into smoke. Amy floated for a moment in the hole she had created, but as the Dark Gaia energy left her, she fell like a stone into the cavern. Sonic rushed forward to catch her, and as she collapsed in his arms, he realized that he himself was a hedgehog once again.
Sorry to scare you, Sonic. It was hard to fight off the Dark Gaia's influence, but I knew I could beat him if I tried.
It was crazy of me to doubt you, Amy. And it would have been easier for you if I asked for your help from the start.
So, you don't think I'm a monster?
We can all turn into monsters sometimes. But with friends like you, it's easy to turn back.